what is integrative mental health and why do we know what that is? Why should we?
Yeah. Integrative mental health. Like you said, I have lived experience with so many things. My story is for another show because it would take me 15 hours to explain what all I've endured to be here today. Part of my path was, I'm trained as a counselor and I had my own dark night of the soul health crisis, near-death experience with my physical and mental health, and was near death and went and see, 20 different doctors and wasn't getting any answers. And I was on my hands and knees really in a moment and had like a spiritual experience of like, you are going to learn how to heal yourself. It was like immediate download. Like, you're going to learn how to heal yourself. And this is like your initiation. And I mean, couldn't eat, drink, walk, talk. I mean, I was disabled and I had a small little baby and I'm trying to take care of her and I'm trying to work. I have this business that I have today, trying to do all the things, and it wasn't working. And I was honestly wondering if I was going to wake up in the morning. It was that dire. And, it was a profound experience where I had to, the traditional medical model works until it doesn't. So for those of us who require something extra or something more, integrative mental health is it. And it was it for me to learn. And so I am like double board, certified in the traditional and integrative, meaning like I did extensive work to become an integrative mental health provider to understand all additional strategies that can work that are all holistic. And so I have like a screen over here that I'm going to read off what that is because I don't want to miss the thing because it's that important because so many people have never even heard about integrative mental health. So it's very individual. So it's very much takes everything that's going on for you into context. And that's traditionally missed as far as like, how are you? And then there's an integrative assessment as far as like, I look at all of the things. So a lot of times people come to me and they're like, they're only looking at this or they're only looking at that, very siloed. And I'm like, I'm looking at the whole thing. I want the whole picture. I want to understand you. Part of my job is to balance biological rhythms. There's a lot of things that are diagnosed as certain things where there's rhythm imbalances and they're diagnosed as so many different things and we're out of rhythm. Trauma takes us out of rhythm with our authentic self. And so that's part of my role is to get someone back in the rhythm. Nature's a big part of the work that I do. So are human and animal relationships. That's a big part. Like you, now you are a nutritionist. Now I study culinary medicine. So food is medicine, food. Our mood follows food. And so I'm trained in food strategies. What do food allergies look like? Those types of things and how that like looks at like mental health symptoms. Like if I have dairy, I'm having dark thoughts. Why? Because our animals are having dark thoughts, right? Because they're harmed. And there's like celiac people. One of my things was undiagnosed celiac. And so I had, that was causing mental health symptoms in dairy.
I want to talk about the harming of the animals for a moment. And I'm not vegan, right, or vegetarian, and I do eat meat, and I only buy organic meat. But I want to say this: they still have trauma when they pass. So you must pray for your food before you consume it to remove the trauma. Otherwise, you get that.
People don't understand energy, right? Like the energetics behind some of the things. And you can, I am a shamanic practitioner, can journey into all of that and get the information around that. But we've lost the practice of like gratitude. We're out of rhythm with the land and the animals and plants, and therefore out of rhythm with ourselves. So I'm really big on food as medicine, and then also being trauma trained, how to like eating disorders. Because in the functional medicine community, which I'm adjacent to, they push a lot of food and things like this. But then I see a lot of disordered eating because they're just pushing food as if that's the only piece. And it's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the only thing, because I'm also looking at herbal medicine, supplements. OCD has been a part of my story. Well, why? Because I'm low in certain nutrients. And so I take certain supplements like inositol, N-acetylcysteine, those types of things.
N-acetylcysteine, amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. It's changed my life. It's changed my life and it's changed my brain. And so I was low in those things and I take those, and I was trained in, how people don't know that you can treat your mental health all like naturally. We call it integrative mental health. We call it amino acid therapy.
Oh, yes. Yes. So I totally use amino acids too. I didn't know it had a name of amino acid acid therapy.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
as a brain health professional, use amino acids because you can use them for addictions,
Everything.
breathing issues. Like pain, right?
So many things. And it's like, it blew me away, Jodi, to learn about this and to be someone with lived experience, like lifelong lived experience with like debilitating OCD. To heal that, I mean, I got my life back, it was amazing. Detoxification is a big thing. So hydrotherapy and detoxification is a big part of integrative mental health. Like sweating is so important, sweating in saunas and movement. Hormones is a big thing. Thyroid, your reproductive hormones, your metabolism, those types of things. I am trained in like what that looks like and how that contributes to your mental health. Exercise, I call it movement that you enjoy. That's what I refer to exercise as.
So, right. You have to go to the gym to have movement.
No, you don't. You don't have to. And you don't have
Right.
to pay $1, to move your body. There's so many resources and things like that. And again, with working with trauma survivors, it's so important to like partner with your body in a way that you enjoy movement, which may not be how society says that you should move. Society doesn't say that I should go and have dance parties all day, every day, but I do because I love it. And that's what's helpful for me. I'm
So I
trained in
want to just say that you don't have to do what you're programmed to do when it comes.
I love it.
Right?
No, because in fact, Jodi, part of adulthood is questioning every belief that we've inherited. Like, does it work? Is it working? Do I need to update this? I call this the consciousness cleanse. Is it working? Does it need to be updated? Does it talk? And this is so helpful.
I love that term, the consciousness cleanse.
Yeah. I love thinking about it that way because that's a necessary part of initiation into adulthood. And we are missing a lot of wise elders. We have a lot of people that are aging, but we don't have a lot of wisdom because there's been a lot of intergenerational and historical and collective trauma that a lot of our ancestors have incurred. But we've got to look at like our inherited beliefs because it could be holding us back. And a lot of them, spoiler alert, are from trauma and conditioning. And those things can heal and change.
I would just say, can show up as something that we'll go into it, but I want to just kind of tee people up, okay? Or tee you up for people later. Trauma can show up as silence. It can show up as loss of memory. Trauma can show up as anger, right? And all these other emotions. So instead of labeling someone as a narcissist or any other label you want to give them, if you have to label, go with trauma and send a grace card and send them to Shannon.
It really is that way. I love your knowing because that's the truth. There's an imbalance. I just treat everything as an imbalance. And what is causing that imbalance typically is trauma and conditioning. I'm at the root of all things, all behavior patterns, everything that's diagnosed as a mental health condition. It's all of that has a root in some sort of imbalance and trauma and conditioning. And there's something that we can do about that. And there's a lot of compassion. Like my healing process and what I've known as far as like deconditioning and deprogramming myself, even how I've been trained, has given me the most compassionate viewpoint of humanity because I understand how much people are suffering because I am trauma, trained and trauma informed. And that's my lens of the world. At this point, that's just how I look at things.
So I'm trauma informed, not trauma trained, but worked with some of the best doctors, I think, on the planet to help people with their trauma responses as it relates mostly to their food, sexuality, things like that, because, or when they, when people don't understand, I know you know this, but I think it's important to share. So according to traditional Chinese medicine, if you have a trauma and then let's say you're eating, I don't know, a pistachio, right? Your body may or may not, but may start to see whatever food that you're eating as a predator and cause inflammation.
Yeah.
And so, you don't know that you're not supposed to eat the apple or the cashew, or maybe you should get your body into rest and digest first for consuming, but your body's in a heightened response. And so you don't have to stay that way, and there are so many solutions.